So my freshman year of college, I made one of the top 5 decisions of my entire life. I got involved in a campus ministry. This ranks right up there with marrying way over my head 17 years ago on Saturday and switching from a PC to a Mac. But a not so funny thing happened to me as I got involved in this great ministry. I loved it so much I kept volunteering, and eventually I found myself, like some of you have found yourself, I was burned out like a bad piece of toast. Welcome to Sunday's Best 3 Minutes, where we're not doing a cooking show, but we do take one big idea from Sunday's message and bring it to you in a portable package. So many of us get involved in volunteer organizations that we're passionate about. It could be a justice issue, could be your local school, or a faith-based organization, or maybe your local Star Trek convention. Burnout in some of these environments is extremely common because the cost and the workload associated with these things is so incredibly high. Now, sometimes burnout happens because of poor workload distribution, but often it's the emotional weight and the decisions that we make that lead us into places of burnout. Well, in Isaiah 6, the scriptures give us God's ultimate solution to that kind of burnout. Isaiah is a prophet already delivering God's message to people, but God had a very important next stage work for Isaiah to do. It was going to last the entire rest of his life, and God told him in advance that nobody was going to listen to him ever. And so to prepare Isaiah for this next stage of his ministry, God gives Isaiah this vision of himself in Isaiah 6. I saw the Lord high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple, and the angels cried out, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory. See, Isaiah had already taken his first steps into this work, but to do all that God had in store for him ahead of him without burning out, he needed a bigger vision of a really big God. Because burnout is a theological problem in one of 2 ways. One, either our vision of God is too small and we think he needs our help way more than he actually does, or 2, our understanding of God's grace is too small and we think we need to earn his approval. My sophomore year of college, I sat back and realized I had all these boxes I was having to keep checked off to keep God happy with me. And what God did for me in one particular morning as I read the scripture and was praying about this was he opened my eyes in a profound way right there in the Bible that was the turning point to a lifelong journey of understanding God's grace at the center of my relationship with God, not my own effort. My deliverance from burnout came as I began to better understand the bigness of a God who didn't need me quite as much as I imagined he did, and the love of God who was already for me more than I could ever possibly imagine. Today, if you're feeling burnt out in a work that you know you once were passionate about, I want to invite you to ask God for a fresh vision of his bigness over the world and his grace and love already poured out toward you. And then let that vision inform how you go about doing this good work he's giving you to do with a whole lot more joy, a whole lot more freedom, and in a way that's way more life-giving. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Sunday's Best 3